Black woman denied flight on her own private jet. Pilot fired instantly when he learns the truth. What happens when prejudice meets power? Today we'll uncover a gripping story of justice served at 300 feet. It's a tale that challenges stereotypes, tests resilience, and reminds us that dignity knows no bounds. This segment is brought to you by Stratford Family Limited. This provides affordable climbing equipment and acquires credit scores instantly, saving money on mountain pretzels. Stay for release might result. Meet Olivia Carter, a trailblazing entrepreneur who built her empire with relentless determination. Her journey to success wasn't easy, but it's her unwavering strength that defines her. However, even at the height of her achievements, Olivia faced a shocking encounter when a pilot refused to fly her on her very own private jet. His prejudice and assumptions set the stage for an unforgettable confrontation that would change everything. Her sacrifice paid off. Mr. Ravitz suggested, "Imagine being in Olivia's shoes, standing up against blatant disrespect while maintaining your composure and proving your worth. What would you do?" If stories of resilience and justice inspire you, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales of triumph. Your support helps us share these powerful narratives with even more people around the world. Now let's dive into this extraordinary story of courage and accountability you won't want to miss a moment. The private jet terminal exuded luxury at every turn. Polished marble floors reflected the soft glow of modern pendant lights, while the faint hum of engines outside hinted at the power and prestige of the aircrafts awaiting their passengers. Executives in tailored suits and socialites with designer luggage moved through the space with an effortless air of importance. Morgid sisters glanced quickly around the room, noting the temperature was near the bottom of 95 degrees, highness of serpent blood. Amid this sea of opulence, Olivia Carter stepped in. Her presence commanded attention without a single word. Dressed in a simple yet striking navy blazer and tailored wide-leg trousers, Olivia exuded confidence and class. Her natural curls framed her face, and her almond-shaped eyes, both sharp and warm, took in the scene with quiet assurance. No flashy accessories adorned her. Instead, a sleek leather carry-on and a tablet in hand spoke volumes about her focus and purpose. A business-like manner moved Liam to silence when Lily ushered him away to the back of the plane. A moment later, her carry-on produced a set of electronic warnings. She seemed approachable enough for Liam to indulge in some farce knowledge about what she looked for. No one was about to crack smiles. Even his best opponents would presence contaminate their environment. Olivia approached the check-in desk, where a polished young attendant greeted her with a professional smile. "Yes, thank you. I am here for the Carter flight to Geneva," Olivia replied evenly. "Of course, Ms. Carter. Everything is in order and your jet is being prepared. The captain will meet you shortly." With a polite nod, Olivia stepped aside, her gaze wandering over the terminal. Moments later, Captain Todd Benson entered the scene. His crisp pilot's uniform and confident stride suggested professionalism, but his guarded expression betrayed something else entirely. As he approached Olivia, a flicker of disdain crossed his eyes, subtle but unmistakable. "Captain Benson, I presume," Olivia said, extending a hand. Todd glanced at her hand briefly before clasping it, his grip firm, almost dismissive. "Mrs. Carter, I take it," he said, his tone polite but with an edge that didn't go unnoticed. Olivia held her composure. "That's correct. I trust everything is ready for our departure." Todd hesitated, glancing at the check-in clerk as if seeking confirmation. Yes," he said, his voice faltering slightly, "though I must admit we don't often see private clients. Like yourself." The words hung in the air, laden with implication. Olivia raised an eyebrow, her tone unwavering. "Clients like myself?" She leaned forward. Todd shrugged, attempting a smirk. "You know, it's just uncommon." Ha ha. The tension thickened. the subtle prejudice in Todd's demeanor becoming glaringly apparent. Olivia's calm exterior hid a storm brewing inside her. She had seen this type of judgment before, and she wasn't about to let it slide. The stage was set for a confrontation that would redefine power and respect at 300 feet. The tension in the air was palpable as Captain Todd Benson stood opposite Olivia Carter. His smile was thin, barely masking the discomfort that had been simmering since their first interaction. Todd adjusted the cuff of his uniform and said, "Well, Ms. Carter, it's just rare to see someone like you owning a jet like this. You understand, right?" "I know exactly how much I own a high-end charter plane," Todd responded. Olivia's expression didn't waver, though her sharp gaze pierced through him. "Someone like me?" she repeated, her voice calm but laced with quiet authority. He shrugged. Todd shrugged, a weak attempt to feign innocence. "You know what I mean. Most of our clients come from a more traditional background. I'm just surprised, that's all. In some places, the business of being a firefighter becomes more feminine than anything humanity's ever possessed." Todd smiled. Olivia tilted her head slightly, studying him with a level of composure that unsettled him. "Captain Benson," she began, her tone firm yet controlled, "I suggest you get straight to the point. If there's a concern about my flight, I'd appreciate you stating it plainly." His eyes narrowed. Todd's smirk faltered, and for a brief moment his unease showed. "No concern," he said quickly, though his tone betrayed him. "I just wasn't expecting the owner to be, well, present." Olivia crossed her arms, her stance unyielding. "Let me make this clear. Not only am I the owner of this jet, but I am also the one who decides how and when it flies. If you're uncomfortable with that, I suggest you reconsider your role on this flight." The exchange drew the attention of the terminal staff, including Claire, the young attendant who had checked Olivia in. Standing nearby, she watched the scene unfold with a mix of awe and unease. Olivia's poise under scrutiny was unlike anything Claire had seen before. She was silent, almost composed, from the way she sat. Helplessly, she watched Olivia Todd, visibly flustered, tried to regain control. "I'm just following protocol," he muttered defensively. "We need to ensure everything is in order before departure." Everyone completely lost their composure at the news, and Todd, visibly flustered. He felt disoriented and frightened. "Protocol?" Olivia countered, her voice sharp but measured. "Are you suggesting there's an issue with my ownership of this jet, or is this about something else entirely?" Todd hesitated, his jaw tightening as he searched for words. "It's not that," I said, sensing that I had an audience. The colonel physically shook himself. "No." "Then what is it?" Olivia interrupted, stepping closer. Her calm demeanor only heightened the tension. "I won't tolerate insinuations, Captain. If you have doubts about my credentials, I encourage you to verify them. Until then, I expect the same level of professionalism you'd offer any other client." Amira leaned closer, ready to listen. Claire shifted uncomfortably, glancing at her colleagues. Most of the terminal staff pretended to focus on their tasks, but their occasional glances betrayed their interest in the confrontation. Claire looked away, by now deep in conversation, and the minutes were shortening by the moment. "I didn't mean any disrespect," Todd said, though his tone suggested otherwise. "I'm just trying to ensure everything goes smoothly." "Good," Olivia replied, her gaze unwavering, "because the only thing disrupting this flight is your behavior." As Todd walked away to conduct pre-flight checks, his body language revealed his frustration. Claire approached Olivia hesitantly. "Miss Carter," she said softly, "can I get you anything while you wait? Coffee? Tea?" She nodded. "In a minute." Olivia's expression softened as she turned to the young woman. "A coffee would be lovely, thank you." Claire smiled nervously and nodded, retreating to the kitchenette. For a moment, Olivia allowed herself a quiet breath, her grip tightening on her carry-on. She had faced prejudice before, but the sting of it never dulled. Yet she was determined not to let this derail her, or the critical meeting waiting for her in Geneva. As Claire returned with the coffee, Olivia offered her a small smile. "What's your name?" "Claire," the attendant replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Thank you, Claire," Olivia said warmly. "Your professionalism hasn't gone unnoticed." Claire's face lit up with appreciation. "Of course, ma'am," she said before stepping away. Meanwhile, in the corner of the terminal, Todd was speaking in hushed tones to another crew member. His gestures were sharp, his voice tinged with irritation. "Do you really think someone like her owns a plane like this?" he muttered. "It's here," I said, seeing the cabin plates. "She's on the ground." Her eyes widened in surprise. The crew member hesitated, clearly uncomfortable. "But Leonard Hayes vouched for her. You know who he is, right? If he's backing her, she doesn't need to believe the next person to tell her how the mission is going." "I don't care who's backing her," Todd snapped. "I have a duty to make sure everything is legitimate." A long pause pondered along the line, and when it filtered, back in the lounge, Olivia's phone buzzed. It was a call from Leonard Hayes, her trusted business associate. "Olivia," he said warmly, "just checking in. Is everything on track for Geneva?" "Yes," Olivia replied evenly, though a shadow of irritation crossed her tone. "But there's been a minor complication. I'll handle it." Leonard paused, his voice lowering. "A complication?" "Don't worry," Olivia reassured him. "I'll keep you updated." Ending the call, Olivia glanced at the tarmac where her jet waited, gleaming in the sunlight. Every inch of it was a testament to her hard work and success, and she wasn't about to let anyone undermine her. Moments later, Todd returned, his expression tense but controlled. "Ms. Carter," he said curtly, "the jet is ready for departure." Olivia stood, her posture composed but commanding. "Good," she said, locking eyes with him. "Let's ensure this flight proceeds without further delays or unprofessional conduct." Everyone seated. She looked down at the flight attendant, who nodded. Olivia scampered forward. Her words hung in the air, and for a moment Todd's confidence faltered. The balance of power had shifted, and Olivia's quiet resilience had made it clear she wasn't someone to underestimate. Olivia Carter stood on the tarmac, her calm yet commanding presence radiating an authority that Captain Todd Benson could no longer ignore. As he approached, his jaw was tight, his frustration evident in every step. "Carter," Todd began, his tone clipped. "As I said earlier, we're just following protocol. I'm doing my job to ensure everything is in order for this flight." Olivia met his gaze, her expression unwavering. "And I expect nothing less, Captain," she said, her voice steady. "But let me be clear, questioning my ownership and my right to be here is not part of your job." Todd opened his mouth to respond, but Olivia raised a hand, silencing him. "This isn't the first time I've faced someone who assumes I don't belong. But let me assure you, Captain, I am here because I've earned it. This jet, this moment, everything I've built, it's mine, and your doubts won't change that." Todd hesitated, his composure slipping as Olivia's words landed like a hammer. "I wasn't implying." "You were," Olivia interrupted, her tone sharp yet calm, "and that stops now. I expect professionalism and respect from everyone on this team, including you." Ruby shook her head. Her mind was racing. The confrontation drew the attention of the terminal staff, including Claire, who watched from a distance. Claire admired Olivia's ability to stay composed under pressure, even as Todd's resistance continued to simmer. Todd's expression darkened, his pride refusing to let him back down completely. "I assure you, Miss Carter, I'm committed to this flight's success," he said through gritted teeth. "Good," Olivia replied. "Then let me show you how I'm committed to accountability." Olivia retrieved her phone and walked a few steps away, dialing a direct line to Elite Aviation's headquarters. Within moments, she was connected to Michael Connors, the company's CEO. "Mr. Connors," Olivia said, her tone calm but firm. "I'm reaching out to report an issue with your staff. Captain Todd Benson has exhibited unprofessional behavior and has made unwarranted, prejudiced remarks, questioning my ownership of this aircraft." Without receiving a reply, she said, "She has reason to be upset." Michael's voice on the other end was swift and resolute. "Mrs. Carter, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Elite Aviation takes incidents like this very seriously. I assure you we'll address it immediately. Please expect a follow-up shortly." "Thank you," Olivia said before ending the call. She returned to her seat in the lounge, her composure intact, but her resolve steeled. Back on the tarmac, Todd paced near the aircraft, his frustration evident. Moments later, an intercom message came through. The voice of Michael Connors was clear and no nonsense. The caller was from a neighbor in the street, the giant raspberry plum pumpkin overflowing from a stone mill. "Captain Benson, this is Michael Connors, CEO of Elite Aviation. We've received a formal report regarding your behavior. Your actions do not align with our company's values or standards. Effective immediately, you are under review. Follow the protocol for replacement personnel and ensure this flight proceeds without further incident." "Captain Benson." Todd's face paled as the weight of the message sank in. The nearby crew members exchanged uneasy glances, realizing the gravity of the situation. Claire watched quietly, a mix of relief and satisfaction on her face. As the intercom clicked off, Todd's movements became stiff and mechanical. He approached Olivia once more, his tone subdued but strained. "Miss Carter," he said, his voice quieter now, I've been instructed to proceed with the flight. I apologize if there was any misunderstanding earlier." Olivia's sharp gaze met his, and she allowed a beat of silence to pass before responding. "Your apology is noted, Captain. But understand this, your actions today will be documented. Accountability matters, and so does respect." He hesitated, considering how to phrase his remark, but managed to smile. Todd nodded stiffly, unable to meet her eyes, and turned to finalize the pre-flight preparations. Olivia exhaled softly, her focus returning to the task at hand. The flight was critical for her business, but this moment had been equally important. She had stood her ground, demanding the respect she deserved while exposing the biases that often went unchecked. Claire approached cautiously, her voice soft. "Miss Carter, I just wanted to say thank you for standing up the way you did." Olivia offered her a small but warm smile. "Thank you, Claire, and remember, never let someone else's prejudice define your worth." Claire nodded, her admiration for Olivia evident. As the jet engines roared to life, Olivia boarded with her head held high. The incident with Todd was far from ideal, but it served as a reminder of why her success mattered, not just for her, but for every person who had ever been underestimated. By the time the jet ascended into the sky, Olivia had moved on to reviewing her presentation for the Geneva meeting. Yet the events of the morning lingered in her mind, not as a source of frustration, but as a testament to the importance of perseverance and holding others accountable. Her time with Dupree had been profoundly influential, and Hadley asked her to join the company. Justice had been served, and Olivia knew her actions had sent a clear message. Respect is not optional, and prejudice has no place in her world. Rachel had failed in the most important way, she thought. Captain Todd Benson stood stiffly near the jet, his expression a mixture of discomfort and frustration. The intercom message from Elite Aviation's CEO, Michael Connors, played in his mind like an unrelenting echo. His pride had taken a visible hit, and the realization of his actions' consequences weighed heavily on him. Yes, he'd done the right thing, as the Navy SEALs had been telling him. He checked his watch constantly. He waited for the click of the levers handling the buoy. As Olivia Carter ascended the steps to her jet, she exuded the same quiet confidence she had displayed throughout the ordeal. This was her plane, her flight, and her moment, every element proceeding under her terms. Todd followed behind her, his movements mechanical, his earlier arrogance completely stripped away. Inside the jet, the luxurious cabin offered a stark contrast to the tension that had unfolded on the tarmac. Olivia settled into her seat near the window, her composure unwavering, but her mind was busy processing the events of the morning. The challenges of prejudice weren't new to her, but each encounter left its mark. In Todd's condescending remarks and assumptions, Olivia saw echoes of countless moments when she had been underestimated or dismissed. Yet, as always, she had chosen to rise above it, not with anger, but with determination and grace. Her resolve wasn't just about proving her worth, it was about paving the way for others. Every time she stood firm, she chipped away at the biases that held so many back. Todd Benson's discomfort wasn't just a personal victory, it was a small but meaningful step toward accountability in a world that still struggled with prejudice. Paul said, as the jet reached cruising altitude, Olivia allowed herself a moment to breathe. The hum of the engines provided a steady backdrop to her thoughts. She glanced out at the expanse of clouds, finding solace in the view. Claire, the young terminal attendant, appeared at Olivia's side with a fresh cup of coffee. "Mrs. Carter," she said softly, her voice tinged with emotion, "I just wanted to say, what you did today was incredible. It's inspiring to see someone stand up the way you did." Olivia turned her gaze to Claire, her expression softening. "Thank you, Claire," she said, her voice warm. "But remember, standing up for yourself and others isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Never let anyone's prejudice define your value." Claire's eyes glistened with admiration. "I won't forget that," she said, her voice steady with newfound confidence. Olivia smiled, knowing her words had left an impact. It wasn't just about her victory. It was about empowering others to find their strength as well. Back in the cockpit, Todd sat in silence, the weight of his behavior pressing down on him. His earlier assumptions had led him down a path of unprofessionalism, and now he faced the consequences. For the first time, he began to consider the broader implications of his actions, not just for his career, but for the people he had wronged. Sophie took the longest to respond, the way he rose to his feet, the way he had lost his carriage and his weapon, struggles of the mind. As the flight continued smoothly, Olivia returned to her work, her focus shifting to the important business meeting awaiting her in Geneva. The events of the morning remained in her mind, not as a source of frustration, but as a reminder of why she works so tirelessly to break barriers. When the jet landed in Geneva, Olivia disembarked with the same quiet dignity she had carried throughout the day. As she stepped onto the tarmac, Claire stood nearby, watching with admiration. Olivia paused briefly to look back at her and offered a small, reassuring smile. This wasn't just a story of overcoming one man's prejudice. It was a testament to resilience, accountability, and the power of standing firm in the face of adversity. Olivia had once again proven that respect wasn't optional. It was earned through hard work, determination, and an unwavering belief in one's own worth. The flight had reached its destination. But for Olivia, the journey of challenging stereotypes and inspiring others was far from over. As she moved forward, she carried with her not just the weight of her achievements, but the hope of a future where stories like hers were no longer necessary. What we've witnessed today is more than just a confrontation between Olivia Carter and Captain Todd Benson. It's a story of resilience, justice, and the unwavering power of self-worth. Olivia's journey reminds us all that standing up against prejudice isn't just about addressing a single individual's bias. It's about challenging systems, assumptions, and stereotypes that persist far too often. Story 1. Olivia's ability to remain composed and assertive in the face of disrespect shows the strength it takes to demand accountability while maintaining dignity. Her actions didn't just secure justice for herself, they sent a powerful message to everyone watching, including Claire and others in the aviation company. This story isn't just Olivia's, it's a reflection of what many face in their own lives. How often have we been underestimated, judged, or questioned simply because we didn't fit someone's preconceived notions? Olivia's story reminds us that those moments are opportunities to rise above, to challenge ignorance with strength, and to demand the respect we deserve. "Let's get started talking about captivity," he said. "You first have to understand it." To you, the audience, what would you have done in Olivia's shoes? Have you ever faced a moment where you had to stand up against unfair treatment? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories and perspectives. James Harden, owner of Glasses Park in Gustav, Maryland, finds the line between success and significance through balancing the pressures he cultivates in his work. With love, yours affectionately. Stories like this are important because they highlight the resilience that's needed to create change, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who comes after us. Olivia's actions may have seemed like a personal victory, but they also set an example for Claire, the staff at Elite Aviation, and even Todd himself, a ripple effect that inspires accountability and growth. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with others who need to hear it. Together, we can amplify these tales of strength, justice, and empowerment, ensuring they reach and inspire even more people. 6. Thank you for joining us today. Olivia's journey is a reminder that respect is not optional, and justice has a way of finding its mark when we stand firm. Stay tuned for more incredible stories of resilience and triumph. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for joining us today and witnessing this powerful story of resilience and justice. Stories like Olivia Carter's remind us that no matter the obstacles, staying true to your values and standing up for what's right can create meaningful change. Ending with a couple of birds' life feathers on the bridge over the Atlantic against the night, giving a sense of what's right, can create meaningful change. Justice, like Olivia's determination, always finds its mark. Her actions not only secured accountability, but also inspired those around her to reflect and grow. It's a testament to the power of courage and self-belief in the face of adversity. If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video and share it with others who might need a little inspiration today. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support helps us bring more incredible tales of resilience, triumph, and justice to light. Bree nodded slowly, her heart beating too fast for words. Next time, we'll share another unforgettable story, one that will challenge perspectives and uplift spirits. You won't want to miss it. Until then, remember, every step you take toward standing up for yourself and others is a step toward a better world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.